Mike and I joke all the time that we have a pre-workout in our stack that when we think for too long about what we're going to use for the day, we just go straight to that. It's our daily pre-workout, one that we know will always work well for us. And today I've got a new addition to that standard for me, Raw Nutrition's Pre. In 2020, we saw Get Raw Nutrition go 0 to 100 in a time faster than, well, Dom, one of the owners, own supercars. We saw their rookie year just blow through the gears crazy fast. And earlier this year, we had to sit down to talk about 2021 with them, hear about their goals for the year. And Dom sat down and he fired me up so hard. He was like, guys, we're coming out fucking swinging in 2021. They've got some cool partnerships coming up. They've got even new manufacturing partnerships that could make some really cool waves in the industry. They've got some really interesting products coming. And the two owners, Matt Jansen and Dom Iacovone, have their sights set on everything for the year. So they started off with their pre-workout of the year, which for all intents and purposes is a very easy daily driver. There's some cool additions to this, but for 99% of it, it's something that I saw and I was like, wow, no, I would take this pretty much every day almost. There's some things that I will tweak every here and there for specific workouts, but that's why they have the rest of their line. So you can change your stack, your peri-workout nutrition to exactly what you need. Now this one was received very interestingly because of one ingredient at the end, which I'm gonna get to, that I had some people in my DMs just absolutely bonkers annoyed about, which makes me laugh so hard because it's like people are forcing you to take a pre-workout that's getting launched. Just as a reminder, guys, you can buy whatever product you want. You don't have to bitch about what companies are putting out. But I felt like this was a bit of a differentiating factor, and I was a fan of it, although normally I probably would have disagreed with what they did. So let's jump in and let's talk about Get Raw Nutrition's Pre. So you have potassium up top with the minerals. It's the only mineral in here that they actually claim. 25 milligrams, that comes from the Tyrosine. That's pretty normal. But in terms of active, we're gonna start out at citrulline malate here. They've got 7 grams of citrulline malate. Now we're assuming it's a 2 to 1 ratio. It's the most common ratio, but I'll be transparent here that that is absolutely an assumption. This could be a 1 to 1 ratio. I don't know because it's not actually claimed on the bottle. In any case, I'm pretty confident it's 2 to 1 since that is the most commonly used and it makes sense for who manufactures this product. At 7 grams, the 2 to 1 ratio comes out to a little under 5 grams. Now, you're looking for a minimum of 4 grams of pure citrulline, so a little bit over that is a good call here. The rest of that's gonna be malic acid, which does have a place in energy production for cells, cellular energy, but it isn't like a huge deal. Mostly citrulline malate is used because of the studies that claimed better endurance. We're gonna be honest here and say that there's no like bonded citrulline malate left in the industry anymore. It's all citrulline and malic acid blended together. But we've also heard people theorize that actually citrulline malate, when it was put into water, would dissociate anyway. So the studies could actually be applicable here. It's kind of just we could debate this all day long. We're gonna run with saying there's a little over 4 grams of citrulline here. It's gonna start the pump off really well, and the malic acid may or may not have an effect on cellular energy. Now following that up, we have Glycerol, which is a 65% glycerol powder at 3 grams. Now it's kind of interesting because this product is not clumpy at all. It's a fluffy powder for sure, but I've had it in my kitchen for a few weeks now and it has not clumped up at all. So they did a good job manufacturing this considering it's a 3 gram dose of Glycerol at a 65% glycerol powder. Glycerol is an ingredient that is going to help a lot with hydration here. Now, hydration is important with the muscles because they have a high percentage of water containing inside of them and you don't want to be cramping up during your workout, but glycerol also can load the muscles in a way that will give you a bit of a water pump. It's not like a blood flow pump that you normally find, but you will feel a little more full and the water will just fill up your muscles a little bit nicer. It's a great feeling, albeit I have really only reaped the great benefits of this when I'm taking in a ton of water. So if you are using this product and you're looking for that water pump effect, make sure you are intaking a lot of water throughout your day, which will only help out with the rest of your goals. Now after that, we have 2 grams of tyrosine. Now I'm excited about this because over a gram of tyrosine is where I start to really feel it. I like it 2 to 3 grams at a time. Pre-workout, it's an awesome feeling ingredient. Tyrosine helps out with all things like focus, mood, alertness, mental energy. It's helpful for creating a few different neurotransmitters in the body. Norepinephrine Norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine are three of those. They're super helpful for things in the gym and outside. So if you're studying, if you're working, it will help out with those as well. But we're really talking about pre-workout usage here. High stress situations like training can deplete it. So if you're training, 5 days a week, this could be important to putting it back into the body, but it's also going to help out in the acute sense with muscle contractions. All of that mind-muscle connection is really helpful with these nootropic ingredients, and it's going to make your workouts feel a little bit better. They also have it in their raw pump. So if you're using these together, you're gonna get a nice dosage here. It's gonna feel really good. After that, we've got 1.5 grams of Agmatine Sulfate. Now, Agmatine Sulfate has always been seen as a pump ingredient in review channels, and I'm here to tell you there's so much more to it. Agmatine has a lot of different benefits. I like it personally for its blood sugar control, but it does help out a ton with pump because Agmatine helps really well as an arginase inhibitor, which helps prevent the breakdown of nitric oxide and arginine within the body. This is something that's important because when you're putting citrulline malate into your body, you're producing that nitric oxide. You don't want anything holding it back. Now, after that, we get to one of my favorite ingredients you guys have heard me talk so much about. Last week, I did a deep dive on just that ingredient, so I'm not gonna go too deep here, but Nitrosigine, 1.5 grams from Nutrition21. Nitrosigine is an awesome ingredient for pumps, for mental focus, for mental flexibility. There's a lot of different benefits here, and it works for not just the workout, but for an additional 5 to 6 hours post-workout. One of the things I like about it is that it's actually been studied against other pump ingredients. In 2019, we saw a study at the University of Nebraska where 1.5 grams of it was studied against 8 grams of citrulline malate. Now, we had 7 grams of citrulline malate here, and I was telling you about how much that's gonna help with your pump. So imagine almost doubling that effect, but from a different pathway. So we're seeing 2 different pump ingredients here that are gonna help a lot with that. Now, this is a pre-workout. It's a well-rounded pre-workout that's not just pump, but also energy, focus, and performance boosting. But we're seeing here, there's a heavy emphasis on the pump here, which is not surprising when you look at Matt Jansen, one of the co-owners, and his clients. He makes some big bodybuilders, and so blood flow is going to be important here. Moving into AlphaGPC, after that, we got 600 milligrams at a 50% standardization. This is an awesome form of choline. AlphaGPC is kind of the bang for your buck option in terms of choline. There is CDP choline and phosphatidylcholine, but they're very expensive, and here we're getting a lot of great benefits from AlphaGPC. One of the cool things about AlphaGPC is it not just boosts mental energy, focus, and mood, but it also has some strength benefits. So one of the things that is big with Matt Jansen's clients is progressive overload over time. So it makes sense that we'd have something in here for strength and power output like 600 milligrams of AlphaGPC. It's important to remember in the pursuit of tissue creation, hypertrophy, body composition changing, not only is blood flow important, we all love the pump and it delivers nutrients that are essential for recovery and growth, but strength gains over time. Adding reps, adding weight, adding sets, adding volume, intensity at a good form over time is really the only thing that's backed by science for long-term hypertrophy. So we're super stoked to see something here that will help with power output. Now, this next ingredient is going to be the controversial one that people were not so happy about. We got 100 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous. And now, in an industry that is constantly pushing the boundaries of what can be safe and what is seen as normal, we normally see caffeine at 250 to 350. We see some companies going 400, 500, and some companies even going straight to that 700 and really pushing the boundaries of what is seen safe milligrams per kilogram. Now, you guys have heard me in the past talk about, well, 12 milligrams per kilogram is really, it's completely safe. There's safety data actually even beyond that. The worst thing that's probably gonna happen is you're gonna feel uncomfortable and you may have gastric distress. So you probably were expecting me to kind of shit on 100 milligrams here. And I mean, I'm gonna say it's not my most common desire. I will admit that when I use this, frequently, sometimes I add caffeine capsules to this, which are super inexpensive and super easy to grab. If you like a formula that doesn't have enough caffeine for you, if you are a caffeine junkie, you can always add more, like I do. Or I'm just gonna sit here and tell you that caffeine has more benefits than just making you energetic. Most of the time, we're looking at it to block adenosine from the receptor. Adenosine is a nucleoside that slows down neural function. It's gonna slow down your body and you feel sluggish when it happens. So when we block that, you feel more energetic. But the other thing that caffeine can do is prevent the breakdown of CAMP. Now, CAMP is important in the production of ATP, and by preventing the breakdown of it, we're actually creating more ATP. That can be useful for power output for all of these different physiological things you're going to need ATP for, which is pretty much everything, not just working out, but working out is what we're talking about here. 100 milligrams of caffeine is not going to go unnoticed. Now, if you have a huge stimulant tolerance, you're probably not going to really feel it, but the benefits are still there. Point being, if you want to use this pre-workout, because the rest of it is still great, just go grab some caffeine capsules. I grab them from NutriBio, or you can get like no dose off of Amazon. You can literally grab just straight caffeine, or you can mix this with their thermogenic powder. There's a ton of other stuff that you can add in for a ridiculously inexpensive rate to add more caffeine. You may not agree with what RAED did here, but it's really easy to add 200, 300 milligrams of caffeine and put it in the range that you want. You know, is it an added expense? Yeah. Is that kind of annoying? Maybe. But they were going for something different here. I'm not going to say that stimulants or caffeine are vasoconstrictive, because they're not. There's a huge myth that has been overplayed. It's not true. But I'm not going to hate on them for making a decision with theirs that isn't technically like non-efficacious. There still is data of caffeine at this low, so it is what it is. Moving forward, something that kind of goes against this though is that there's 2 milligrams of Yohimbine HCl. Yohimbine HCl is an awesome ingredient for moving blood, getting your mind just turned on, and for some, it can even make you a little bit irritable. Now, that negative effect possibility is mostly dose dependent, and at 2 milligrams of Yohimbine HCl, you really shouldn't be too worried. If there's 2 milligrams of Yohimbine alkaloids, I'd tell you maybe be worried. But HCl is going to be a lot lighter, but it's still going to be very effective. Yohimbine HCl is really known in the fat burning community for suppressing appetite, sparking fat burning really hard, but in terms of pre-workout, this is one of the few ingredients that I feel at such a small dosage and actually really love seeing it added to pre-workouts. Yohimbine is one of those ingredients that you won't really know what it feels like. It's hard for me to explain to you what the effect is until you actually try it yourself. It is very potent, it is very strong, and I am one of the people that absolutely loves the addition of it. Some people don't, and I'm going to be honest with you about that. Some people really don't like it. It'll make them sweat, it'll give them cold sweats, make them kind of anxious, but for most people who are trying to get into the gym and absolutely destroy some weights, I think it's a huge benefit, a great ingredient for most. Now we round off the end here with some huperzine A. They've got 20 micrograms here, and huperzine A helps a lot with breaking down acetylcholinesterase. Like we were talking about before with AlphaGPC as a choline source, choline in the body creates acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter that is used for thinking, focusing, but what we're really talking about here is the mind-muscle connection, the contraction of muscle tissue. And that can deplete acetylcholine over time, but one of the other things that depletes acetylcholine is acetylcholine esterase, an enzyme that breaks down acetylcholine. So by adding in huperzine A here, we're helping our body not just create acetylcholine, but also maintain it for longer amounts of time. It's not a huge formula, it's 9.5 grams, but I'm a big fan of the formula. I'm a big fan of how they put this together. Obviously, I love Nitrosigine, I love AlphaGPC, I love Yohimbine, Agmatine, Glycerol, citrulline. It's from a ton of different angles a great product that I would recommend for most to get. If you're sensitive to Yohimbine, I would probably recommend seeing if you get a sample, maybe trying something else out. But I would not recommend staying away from this product just because of the low caffeine, because it's extremely easy to add caffeine to any product. I've been doing it for years. So, I do have to say, we got this product for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship with Raw and Revive, but I'm not biased because of the business relationship. I'm biased because Matt and Dom do a really great job of pushing the boundaries of this industry, bringing good quality products to the market, and making sure that even all of this is BACG certified. It's manufactured in a great facility. They provide third-party testing analysis. They have a few different manufacturing facilities that all have been audited, and they monitor the testing of each product every single lot. So check it out. If this sounds like it's good for you, I would definitely recommend you go over and use coupon code PricePlow at checkout for a nice discount. I really appreciate you making this far in the video. This one has gone a little bit longer than normal, but I hope it was informative. So as always, guys, have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.